one of the biggest lessons in life, and for your audience right here, attention. You need attention. If you don't have attention, you're better off being a brokey with millions of followers and getting a lot of attention, because then it's easier to make money.
All right, guys, welcome to another episode of The Report. Today, I got someone who was doing big things. He was homeless back in 2008 and since has built a multi-million-dollar empire doing big things in a lot of different spaces. I got my man, Albert Preciado. Albert, welcome to the show, brother.
Hey, thank you for having me. Excited. You know, I don't come to San Diego a lot, but it looks really nice. The weather's nice.
We don't have a glass of champagne for you, though.
We have water.
We have water, some Kirkland Costco water.
You got to get some champagne here.
I got some Pellegrino, bro. Like some bubbly. We might have some champagne in the kitchen. We could have the girls bring it out for you if you like.
Maybe later.
Okay, maybe later. Okay. So, dude, you were homeless in 2008.
Yeah.
What the fuck happened there, man? Tell me about that.
I just didn't have the experience. I didn't have the experience, and I think that if I had the experience and I knew what I know now, I had the friends that I have now, I would have killed it in 2008. I would have been making more money than ever.
You were hanging out in the wrong circles?
I was, because I didn't know better. I was young and unexperienced. So what happens? You start hanging around with losers and brokies, and they drink the cheap stuff. They do drugs, you know, cocaine, and they chase women, and you know, shit happens. And that's what happened to me. I got into a cocaine addiction that lasted about a year and a half, and that led to me losing everything.
And that was so prior to 2008, you had some nice stuff, and then you lost it all?
Yeah, so in 2005, I was 22 and 21, 22, and that's when I got into real estate. And I started just selling real estate and selling mortgages. And my first 12 months, I killed it. I made $260,000, and I bought a Rolex. I iced it out, put diamonds on it, two-tone, and I got an S550 when it just came out. You probably watched Entourage, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I grew up watching
Great
Entourage. And I saw the S550 there. I saw the Ferraris there, the Maserati there, the Quadriporte. And I'm like, damn, I want to get that car. So I got my S550. I was the first one in the office to get that car, and the youngest. So I was a top producer, made a lot of money, and just fell into my addiction of cocaine, drinking, women. And I was just blowing money. And when 2000 came, I didn't have anything saved up, and I just messed everything up.
So how bad was the homelessness? Were you literally on the streets?
It wasn't bad. It was actually fun.
It was fun.
It was fun, yeah.
Why was it fun?
Because, I mean, I wasn't technically homeless. I had a Ford Explorer. So I used to sleep in the Ford Explorer. So I slept in the Ford Explorer 2 months. That was my homeless time. So I was not really homeless. I had a roof, which was the Ford Explorer. And those Ford Explorers, I'll tell you, it's not the end of the world. Like, you could park in front of the beach. So I used to park Newport Beach. I had a Supra key because I was a realtor. So I used to open up $1 million homes and just stay in the $1 million homes. I had my Ford Explorer. And dude, those Ford Explorers, I don't know if you know what I'm talking about, but the designer, he designs those cars for fun, like for sex. Those cars are the best to have sex. Yeah, the Ford
Really?
Explorers. Like the way they have the design at the top, you put your leg up there.
Yeah,
you
I didn't know that.
stretch. Best car for sex, Ford Explorer. And
It's because the roof line, or what?
it's just the box seat, and how high it is, and everything. So it's just perfect, and they design them for that. Like, you sit in the middle, and then you put your legs up on the sides. The Ford Expedition, that's for taller people. Like, if you're a little bit taller and you're like, you know, 6'3", 6'6", the Expedition would be the car. But they're made for that. It's not that bad.
Damn, I had no idea, man. This is a known thing.
Yeah, I mean, I think
You lived it.
I lived it. Yeah.
How many girls would you say that have been in that Explorer with you?
A lot.
So you mentioned you're going into these nice mansions. How are you getting access to these mansions?
Because when you're a realtor, back in the day, you had a Supra key. So it's like a little box, and you use that. It creates a code, and you could go inside those
To show
homes
a- to show a home.
them and sell them. Yeah.
Got it.
So I had one of those.
Damn.
Because like, when I lost everything, I kept a few things. You know, I kept my laptop, my iPhone, and I had my Supra key. The
Okay.
Supra key is the one to open the houses. So I kept the basic needs.
So now I get it. You're homeless, but you got the Explorer. You having a little fun in the Explorer, and you're jumping around and touring a bunch of nice mansions. Are you sleeping in those mansions too?
Yeah, quite a bit.
Damn. And these are just vacant homes, listings that
Yeah,
people don't live
listings.
in.
Uh-huh.
Damn, that's crazy. And
Don't
so,
don't tell anybody though.
no, that doesn't sound like a bad life right there.
I mean, it's over 10 years, so I'm safe.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So, so then you go from this, and then you get to where you are today.
Uh-huh.
And you mentioned you were hanging out with the wrong people. What was the biggest shift that you made with your circle to get you to where you are today?
Focus. I just started focusing, and it's a process. Like I started focusing a little bit more, and then my every year my level of focus just started increasing.
Mm.
And
Do you have ADD?
probably I was very wild. Like my one of my daughters, she's very wild. She's like I used to be. Her name is Berlin. All my daughters, by the way, are named after Ferraris, but we'll get into that.
Where
But
the daughter is made in the Explorer
no,
Expedition?
no, I didn't make any kids in the Explorer.
Ex-
That happened post.
okay, that was post.
Yeah.
So you think you have ADD? I think I have ADD as well, but I honestly think it's like a superpower if you are an entrepreneur, business owner, real estate investor, because
What is ADD or
it's just like attention deficit disorder. It just basically means that you have scatterbrain, and you jump from like thing to thing to thing to thing, and it's hard for you to focus on one thing. I feel like I have it. I've never been diagnosed with it, but I definitely have. Like it's hard time. It's hard for me to focus unless it's something I'm really into. Like when I was in school growing up, in grade school, middle school, elementary school, I found myself getting bored. I was bored at history. I was bored at what are some of the other classes? Poli sci, science. I'm like, I'm not interested in any of that stuff. Falling asleep. I was just never into it. And I used to think I was not a good student, but I just realized as I get older, it's just like I just wasn't into the material.
yeah? No, I have a lot to say about school too. College is stupid.
Yeah. Why?
It's a waste of time. You don't learn anything in college. Like you don't learn anything in school. Like what? Like why are they teaching you geography, or geometry, algebra? Like who the hell uses algebra? Like all that stuff is not important. Like you need to learn just how to read, how to speak, and how to multiply and divide. That's all you need. You don't need any more than dividing and multiplying. That's all you need to learn, and obviously adding and subtracting. But that's all you need. You don't need anything else besides those skills.
And you could even argue that stuff you could pull up on the iPhone calculator.
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, now you don't even need a brain. You have ChatGPT.
Yeah.
Any dumbass can be smart.
I hear that you get in trouble in school if you use ChatGPT.
Dude, I'm so I don't know anything about school anymore. Like it was just such a waste of time.
Do your kids go to private school?
No, they don't go to school. They actually
homeschooled?
they're homeschooled, but they're just doing it for the requirements that you need for them not to take your kids away.
Why did you decide not to enroll your kids into public school?
Mom's in charge of that, so she decides on that. I just kind of give my input, but I just don't want my kids around all the other kids. I don't. I think the other kids are most of them are just bad examples, and I don't want my kids to, because you're like the top 5 people that you hang out with. I think the same thing with your kids. And people will argue and they'll say, well, the kids need to be kids. They got to go out there and meet people. Like I choose to not have my kids around kids that are not smart, not good. I want them to be around smart kids.
Yeah. I also feel that like a lot of the, especially in public school, a lot of the principles are based on memorization. Well, memorization is like from the industrial age, right? So you memorize all these tests, all these equations and all that. But I'm like, dude, like in today's age, like we don't need to memorize anything, right? We just need to know how to look it up. So we have cell phones, we have Google, we have YouTube, ChatGPT. I mean, it's a fact that, the cat's out the bag. You can officially learn more listening to a podcast today than you can going to a 4-year university. That's just the facts.
Yeah.
And everything's going to podcasts right now, by the way. Like the amount of podcast listeners is doubling every single 5 years worldwide. We just reached 505 million podcast listeners worldwide. That's almost double the amount of the American population.
Yeah, because I do have degrees, but they all work for me.
You have degrees.
They're
In
my
what?
employees. My employees.
Okay.
They all have degrees, but they work for me. School teaches you how to be a slave. They teach you how to work for other people. So like that's why school is bad. And then another thing, just to add to this, is I don't vaccinate my kids. So when they were forcing you to vaccinate them, I said, well, we're not taking them to regular school. We're not vaccinating our kids.
Yeah. Why did you not vaccinate your kids?
because it's poison,
Mm,
kills you.
mm.
I have a lot. I knew people. I had friends that got the COVID shot and died.
Damn, are you serious?
Yeah, and then
That's crazy.
if you notice, like kids are just growing like fucked up. Like all the kids from now, they just grow really fucked up, and it's because they don't even they're born and they don't even know what's going on, and they're just like injecting them and injecting them and injecting them, and no wonder why they grow up all fucked up. Because imagine all those vaccines they put in. Most of that stuff you don't even need.
There was even like professional athletes at one point, like literally I remember there's an NFL athlete that was like literally on the field during the game,
Yeah,
like 25 and healthy,
I think LeBron James kid that happened to him too.
just dropped to the floor around the time when the vaccines were going out. Let me see if I can look this up.
I've seen kids that are normal, and then they come back from their session of vaccines, and then they come back, and then they're never the same again. Now they're they become special ed kids.
Yeah. So NFL player Damar Hamlin of the Buffalo Bills, 24, healthy, free safety, completely just had a stroke and collapsed during the game against the Cincinnati Bengals. I don't think that's ever happened in NFL history, but this was going on during the vaccination stuff.
Mhm.
That's
Well,
crazy.
my daughter is 8. My oldest one, she has 0 vaccines, and she's super healthy. Never gets sick.
I have some friends where they don't believe in vaccinating their kids, but they moved to South Carolina recently. They left San Diego, they left California to go to South Carolina, because the public school system out there doesn't require the vaccinations. But you're saying in California, if you homeschool, you're good.
Yeah, they're good.
They're good.
Because you're homeschool.
Yeah. I think this was my whole thing with the vaccination. I didn't elect to get vaccinated. I didn't elect to get poked. This is my whole thing with it. I felt like when the vaccine rolled out, I had already had COVID and I had recovered from it. And being, at the time, I think I was like 35, 34 years old, relatively healthy man, already had COVID and recovered from it. I felt like the risk of me getting COVID again and actually dying from it was like not a risk to me.
Yeah, bro. I've
And so
had COVID like 3 times.
yeah, and so my whole it was like literally just a little like cold.
Yeah.
It was a cold. It put me under for like 2 days, but I've been way more sick than whenever I had COVID. Way more sick. It was nothing. It barely sent me back. Now, here's my thing. I felt like if you were an old person and you wanted to go get the vaccine, great. If you even if you had kids and you're relatively young and healthy and you want to go get the vaccine, great. You should be able to do that. But I just felt like, as in here in America, as an American citizen, I should have the right and the decision to to be able to decide on what medicine and what vaccine I want to put in my body without the bullying and scrutiny of others' opinions. And that's just it. And so for me, I was like, dude, if you want to do it, great, go do it. If you don't want to do it, then don't do it. But I didn't agree with all the bullying. I didn't agree with all the media. I didn't agree with all the propaganda. Do you feel like the vaccine had an alternative agenda? Obviously, there's a lot of marketing dollars behind in the pharmaceutical industry.
It's everybody has their own opinion, but like I don't really give it too much importance because if you think about it, every 80 years, 8 billion people get replaced with 8 billion new people. So like we're not that big of a deal. Like we'll be forgotten in maybe a few years, 10 years, 20 years, I don't know, but you get the point. So like we're not that big of a deal unless we create a legacy that lasts forever. Like Steve Jobs will never get like everybody knows who Steve Jobs
But
is,
even
right?
then, people forget about you. I mean, think about some of the most legendary names that have ever existed, right? Like people still forget about you.
So that just means you have to create something really big so that you're remembered a little longer. But yeah, I mean, I feel like they were just trying to get rid of people,
Yeah.
cut the population.
Yeah, I know that's a crazy time period. People were shunning people for not having vaccines. It was like segregation. I have season tickets to the San Diego Padres, and I remember there was a time period for the first season during COVID when baseball was back that I couldn't even sit at my season seats. We had to go sit in the outfield, and I couldn't sit at my season seats because you had vaccinated sections and you had non-vaccinated sections. It was like literally segregation all over again. Concerts, sporting events, all that sort of stuff. It was like you couldn't go on airplanes. It was crazy. I've never
Yeah.
seen anything like it, man.
That's what we started flying private
Mm, mm,
because they were forcing my daughter to put a mask on,
damn,
and then they kicked us out of the plane.
damn, that's crazy, dude. So you say that credit is fake. What do you mean when you say credit is fake?
It's made up. Like money's made up. You go to the bank. Like I went to the bank last week, and I wanted to get some cash out, and I'm asking like, well, I want to get some cash out, and they look at me and, how much cash do you want to get out? And I tell them, well, 15,000, and they just look at me like that, and can I get 10,000 out? And they're like, oh yeah, but you have to fill a report. And
Signatures,
I'm like,
multiple
yeah,
IDs.
and I'm like, okay, cool, but I don't care about the report. But then they come back, and the manager comes in, and they're like, we can't give you that much cash. You have to like order it in advance. And I'm like, it's not a lot of cash. So long story short, the branch only had $5,000 cash left. So they gave me 4K. And then one of my employees was gonna go cash a check for 7,500. And I'm like, hey, don't worry about your check. Don't go. You're gonna waste time. And she was all like scared. What's going on? Like she was all freaking out. And I'm like, yeah, the bank doesn't have the cash. Just go Monday. So I'm like, I took some cash out, just borrow this, pay it back on Monday. But they don't, the money, they don't have it. It's just printed. And then credit is the same thing. You could go out there and you could get 10 credit cards, max them all out, go to Dubai or Miami, wherever you want to go, party your life away, never pay the cards. And then 2 weeks to 4 weeks later, you can have all of that erased from your credit. And all you got to do is just go and apply for new loans under different banks. Meaning, like if you get a Chase collection from Chase Bank, then Chase is going to have you in their system as you didn't pay it. However, it's very easy. There's companies that do credit repair, and they'll erase it from your credit, and it won't come back.
Bankruptcies, foreclosures.
Everything, car lates, everything. Take it off.
Now I understand like after 7 years it falls off, but you're saying in 2 weeks
Uh-huh.
you can have it taken off.
Pay like
Damn.
$10,000 more or less. You get a rush service, and they'll erase anything bad from your credit. If you have maybe you have just something you don't want to show on your credit. Maybe you don't want the car payment to show on your credit report. They'll take it off from your credit report. You'll still have it, but it just won't show on your credit report.
Yeah.
And there's certain reasons
It won't
why
show
you
as a
don't-
late or whatever.
it won't show, period. It won't even show you have a loan with Ferrari Financial. I mean, Ferrari doesn't report, but let's just say you have a Mercedes car payment, and you see the loan amount, and then you see your payment that could probably affect you qualifying for something else. They could just take it off from your credit report. It won't appear again. It won't report, but you still have the loan. But the bank, nobody's going to see it.
Well, I know like business credit, right? We have like a lot of the hotels that we buy. It's like mortgages under the LLCs that own these properties. In a lot of my personal real estate, I have title under an LLC, so the mortgages are all under the LLC. And even if you get business credit cards, it's to the business, it's to the LLC, and I know that doesn't show up in your personal unless it's Capital One. Capital One will show up in your personal credit report, but I didn't know that this was a thing. You could just have it removed. That's
You could
crazy.
remove like let's just say right now you have 30 accounts that show up on your credit report personal. If you want to take off 10 of them for certain reasons, or 20 or 15 of them only, you take them off. So they still exist, but they won't show on your credit report. So nobody else is going to see them.
Yeah. So should someone listening to this, if they had the choice to use credit cards and all that, you're saying 100% do it?
100% use other people's money. That's
Yeah,
the number
OPM.
one lesson. OPM, the number one lesson.
And you get the
that I learned.
points.
Huh?
And you get the credit card points.
Yeah, you get the credit card points, but not only that, like you have nothing to lose and everything to gain. My first event, so 10 years ago, I don't know if you're familiar with Patrick Bet-David and Grant Cardone.
PBD. I know Grant personally. I've never met Pat.
12 years ago, I paid him a lot of money, both of them. And I'm talking about a little bit of money, like $10,000 for 4 one-on-one sessions, which then led to a friendship. And I spent a lot of time with them. They weren't that known back then. And they taught me a lot of the basic stuff. And the reason why I say basic stuff, because now my mentors are multi-billionaires. And I learn way more different things from them, and it's free. Well, I can tell you more about that. But I learned a lot from them. And that's when I started my first driven event, and Grant spoke at it, Patrick spoke at it 10 years ago. And you know how I funded my event?
Credit cards.
Credit cards. I didn't have any money. I was a brokey. I didn't have any money, and I was making decent money. But as an entrepreneur, you make $300,000 a year. You spend $350,000 a year. You make $1 million. You're spending more than $1 million. You're putting it back into your business, surviving, whatever the case is. But I got a credit card through Chase, and there's a hack. So there's a credit card hack where you go to chase.com and you request the travel cards. So you get the Marriott, the Ritz-Carlton card from Chase, and then you get the Delta card, United card. They're all Chase cards, and those give you a high limit. So they'll give you like 20, 25K limit because they're traveling cards and they expect you to spend a lot of money. So you'll get like 80K, 90K, and then what you do is you call Chase and you tell them, hey, I want to combine these cards into one. I want to transfer the credit limits into one card. But you apply for a Chase Freedom card, I think. That's 0% interest for 15 months. And then you move all your credit limits from the travel cards to your Chase Freedom card. Now you have an $80,000, $90,000 credit card.
At 0%.
0% for 15 months. So I did that for me. I did that for my wife, Sil, and I did that for my dad. And I created like $300,000 of credit limits, 0%.
Yeah.
And I just went out there and I paid Grant his 50K. I paid Patrick David his fee. I went in and booked the Ritz-Carlton, audio-visual, and created a spectacular event and had over 500 people my first event. And that's what started creating my Driven brand, which led to also my personal brand, Albert Preciado.
And so you racked up $30,000 in 0% credit cards to throw this event. And I imagine you had back-end products with the launch. You sold tickets as well. But I think a lot of times when you host a live event, I think what most people don't realize, most people that throw live events, they lose money on the event, but the back-end sales, the brand building and all the stuff on the back end is where you can make money. So what kind of return did you have on the 300K?
I lost a lot of money. I lost money at all my events, except the most recent ones. I was always losing money. It was just, every time I would have an event, I was so scared because I'm like, fuck.
You have to make the money back.
I'm like, I'm going to go bankrupt or I'm going to lose everything. Like, because every time you have an event, it's a lot of money, a lot of work.
Yeah. And it's a lot of time to plan.
Yeah. But.
And you got to market, you got to promote
right,
it.
You got to sell it.
And that's the thing about I haven't done an event.
Mm-hmm.
And we do a bunch of small live events, like small meetups, free. We do yacht meetups in the summer. And then we do like a annual in-person retreat that's like exclusive for our mastermind members. But I've been hesitant to do any sort of live event because I know it's not just the money, it's the time for the team. It's the time for me. That's a huge opportunity cost of now our focus is promoting this event for months and months and months leading up to it. But like, what if we just focused all that time into actually making money? You know what I mean? So what's the one thing that you said that you figured out to where you used to lose money on events and now you don't?
I think my brand just grew. My brand grew, and then so are you familiar with Wes Watson?
Yeah, I'm friends with Wes.
Yados?
No.
That's one of his friends. There's a few others, but they have they sell their products, right? Their coaching, and they're like a one-man team, or maybe they have a few people that help them with ticket sales, but it's mainly just them. I used to be like that, and because I never really focused on info products or Driven because I was so busy growing my mortgage company and my real estate company and then my escrow company. And I've always been a real estate guy. So I was focused on that. But what I had was I know the business. I have a business side. So I'm not a trainer or a coach or a motivational speaker. I'm a businessman. So I know how to build businesses, how to operate them, how to build systems and processes and all that stuff. So then when when I had more time, I focused on Driven, on building a sales team because I didn't want to be making the sales or putting so much energy. So we build a sales team, and this is recent. So right now we have 40 salespeople, and they're all animals. Like they're the best, and all of them make 100 calls a day. So we make about
outbound.
Okay,
to a warm list or cold list.
Pretty warm, because we run a lot of we run ads. So it's 4,000 calls a day, and these they're kids, dude. They're selling like $100,000 a day just in info products, and I don't even do anything. It's just like it happens, and it's on autopilot. So now with the Salesforce, The events are so easy to put together. It's just the time, like you said, time, how valuable it is. Like I have very little time left. I just want to do things that I love to do, like having a glass of champagne, being at the beach, the sun, getting a nice tan, hanging out with friends or with my kids, with my parents. I don't want to be doing things that are going to take my time and they're not going to make me a major return on. So now we built a sales team, and that's been life changer for the driven events.
Yeah. And how much is the offer they're selling for when they're dialing 100 people a day? What's the offer they're selling?
We have we have $5,000 offer, $10,000 offer, $50,000 offer, $25K offer.
So you get a bunch of different offers.
Yeah.
I like that. So all right, dude. So you're rocking a white Richard Mille $250,000 watch. Are you a big watch guy?
No, I don't like watches.
You don't like watches?
No, I don't like watches. They're
so why you rock? Why do you spend so much money in watches if you don't like watches?
It's just to get attention. And I got them a while back. It's not like right now. I wouldn't go buy an expensive.
A Richard Mille.
Stupid.
You wouldn't.
It's dumb.
Okay.
Yeah, it's stupid.
So did you get the attention that you were looking for?
Yeah.
Did it work?
Yeah. So think about this. If you're not in shape, if you don't look good, if you drive a Honda Civic and you have a cheap watch, out of shape, who the hell are you going to sell? Like, sex sells. So whether you're a man or a woman, you got to take care of yourself, and you have to have your your image, like when you build your brand, everybody has a different brand, right? Like, meaning, like, you have Hormozy that has a bunch of hair and wears
White beater,
shorts.
Crocs.
Yeah. That works for him.
Yeah.
Good for him. Then you have Cardone. He shows off a lot in his
Got the private jet.
That works for him. You have Andy Elliott with those little tiny shorts. That works for him. I don't want to be like them. I'm me. So, like, there's just things that I like.
So you're Richard Mille. You got the Ferrari.
Yeah.
What kind of Ferrari do you drive?
The SF90.
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 How much you drop on the SF90?
Ooh, it was worth $1 million when I got it, but I got it for sticker price. I didn't pay more than that. I think I bought it for like $560.
Okay. And what's the horsepower in the SF90?
1,000. It's the fastest Ferrari out, faster than LaFerrari.
And it's the hybrid. It's got a portion of it's electric.
Yeah.
What's the 0 to 60 time?
Like 2 seconds.
What's 0 to 100?
I don't know. 4 or something. I don't know.
What's the fastest? What's the fastest you ever got?
What's
the fastest you've ever gone in the SF90?
Probably like 120.
That's it.
I don't drive fast, dude. I value my life.
Yeah. Did you drive the SF90 down here?
Yeah.
You did.
Yeah.
Okay.
I
want to go check it out when I walk you out.
Yeah, we'll do it. But I don't put myself in danger. Like, I don't like to be in danger. I don't want to die. Like, I want to live forever. I want to live I want to live the longest I can live being healthy. You know, I want to be able to get hard, have sex, look good. I want to be attractive. You know, I don't want to be 120 or 100 and be like just in bad shape.
Yeah. Do you take testosterone?
No, I don't take anything.
Has your Ferrari SF90 made you more money?
Oh yeah, 100%.
How so?
Well, because when I got my first Ferrari, 2016 was the first year I made $1 million, and the first thing I did was went out there and got a 458 Italia, and then I named my first daughter Italia. So my wife was pregnant, and she was expecting Italia. Now Italia, and I'm like, I'm gonna go get the Ferrari right now, because once Italia is born, you know,
who knows?
My wife's gonna be like, no, you can't get your car. So I'm like, I'm gonna go get it right now.
Get
like,
a minivan.
Yeah, so I got it, and then we named our first daughter Italia. But that car, dude, I fucking used it like a prostitute. And you know what I mean by that? Like, I would park the car. I would park the car in front of the office, loading zone. I would get a ticket every single day, and then eventually every other day, because the ticketer felt bad, and they're like, man, you know what? We like you. We follow you. Because I had my Instagram on the car, so they started following me, and he would send me a DM, hey, you know, I hate to do this, but I got to give you another ticket. And I'm like, dude, don't feel bad. Don't worry about it. It's the best marketing campaign you can never do. It's $55 every other day. It's about $700 a month. That's $700. That's the best $700 you can ever spend on ad spend, and that's a month. And every single day, people are looking at my Ferrari, taking pictures, and then they start following me. It's parked in the front. So it worked so good that I got a second prostitute. I got a second Ferrari. So I had the 488 when it just came out, and the 458, and they were both red.
Which one do you like better of the two?
Back then,
Yeah,
the 458. Because the
458.
458 is a real Ferrari. The 488, the turbo makes it like it just makes it like I don't know, weak. It's not
Okay.
loud and
Yeah. Hey guys, we just got another boutique hotel under contract in my hometown of San Clemente, California, located not too far from the beach. This will make 5 boutique hotels in our real estate investment fund. So if you are looking for passive income and tax benefits, visit summerscapital.com/invest to book a free call with my team. Again, that's summerscapital.com/invest to book a free call with my team. Now back to the show. And so today you got the SF90.
yeah.
What are you doing that's unique with marketing with the SF90? Anything unique? Because I'm in Fastlane Drive, which is like an exotic car club. And there's a network of probably about 20 chapters now worldwide. A bunch in the States. They got one here in San Diego, which is the OG chapter, LA, Scottsdale, Miami, Austin. They got one even in Monaco. But they do these like really cool rallies at these different like chapters. And then after the rally, they'll do like a really dope party. So like, let's just say here in San Diego, for example, every August they do a really dope rally that's like an all chapter rally. So people fly in from all over the world. And then we do this like 250 like exotic cars. We go on this dope drive in San Diego. And then afterwards you go out on a private yacht out in the water. And it's a really great networking opportunity, all these events, but it's all business owners, real estate developers, people that are doing big things, have a lot of pockets. And so through this network, I've met people that have invested in our fund. I've met people that have business opportunities, deal flow, all that sort of stuff. And it's really leveled up my network. So I'm curious for you with the SF90, what are you doing that's unique today? That's maybe making you a little bit of money.
Yeah, you know what I become is like my next chapter in life is to get to the first billion.
Okay, with a B.
I'm working really hard on that, and I'm not that far away from
What's
it.
your net worth today?
Probably like I don't know, like I would say maybe 100 million.
Okay,
I mean, give or take. Everybody's net worth. Everybody has
you
their
got a
own-
9-figure net worth though.
Yeah.
Okay.
So like, I have my best friend. I'm not gonna say his name just because I want to keep him private, but he's worth a couple billion, and we have lunch every week, early dinners, and he has other friends that are worth like 10 billion. So because think about it, like when you're worth 100 million and you have a billionaire friend, that's a jump, right? But when you're worth a billion, you have people that are worth 10 times more than you, like 10 billion. So there's a difference between a billionaire and a 10 billionaire. So what I learned from them is so different than what I learned from these people that are on social media saying that they're a billionaire, they're worth $500 million, because they're not. They're not. And you know that because billionaires, they drive Honda Odysseys. They don't wear watches. They don't show their jets. They don't tell people, hey, I put $100 million into one of my kids' accounts. I put another $100 million into my other kid. They don't even know. It's real big money.
Mark Zuckerberg's got a $400 million yacht though.
He probably doesn't show it off though. People have to like.
Yeah, he doesn't show it off. He doesn't
He has
flex it.
people like that are chasing that are.
That's not his personality.
Yeah, but because people that are really wealthy don't show it off. So my next chapter in life is I'm not gonna be really showing off.
So you're gonna be humble.
Yeah, I'm pretty humble all the time. Like I love giving. But to answer your question, the Ferrari and the watches, they work because I'll run an ad, and I'll be in front of the car with a watch and flexing, and I'll be like, hey, if you want to learn how to make sales, to become the best in sales, you want me to mentor you, da 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 da, click below. And that's an ad, boom, gets a bunch of leads, and then my sales team is closing all those deals. And on the other side, if I'm running ads for mortgage, real estate, escrow, then I'm gonna be in a suit. I'm not gonna wear this ugly watch. I'm gonna wear a Patek or a Rolex.
Yeah.
And
you might be in front of a nice piece of real estate.
Yeah, and I'm gonna be in my office, not in the car. I'm gonna be professional. So that's that. That's why I do it. But dude, I can't wait to not be the CEO because that's thinking really small. I don't want to be doing the brand and the ads. I want to be like the billionaires are.
I feel you, dude. So you say watching sports is a waste of time. Why do you feel that watching sports is a waste of time? Because for me personally, I used to be super into sports, football, basketball. I would have like literally on Sundays, I would have like 25, DraftKings lineups going. I would have 5 fantasy football season leagues going. and I'd be like plugged in and all stoked. And that was like my adrenaline rush of the entire week. And I would get hyped for these games on Sundays. Now, I don't even know who's on what team. I don't even know who's leading the standings. I don't even know who's playing, and I don't really care. So I'm curious because I agree with you. But like, why do you say watching sports is a waste of time?
How many billionaires do you know that watch sports?
Mm,
They don't
I
watch
don't.
sports. They own the team.
Mm,
And they're not there watching the game. They're like making sure like LeBron doesn't get hurt, or they're right there just kind of making sure their business is running. But billionaires don't watch sports. Like dude, when I used to watch sports, I used to be a brokey and hang out with a bunch of brokies. I used to stay up late, go to bars to watch the Laker games, and then fights. I almost lost an eye once, and it was just nothing great happens after 10 p.m. And so like instead of watching teams and games, work hard, make a lot of money, and then when you make a lot of money, maybe go and buy the team.
mm. Dude, you're right, man. Because if you think about like let's just say a regular football season, right? We're looking at 4.5 months. Okay. And now you're going to play fantasy. Preseason, you start the draft. Everyone gets hyped. Now you get the draft parties. You got the football. And now in football, it's not just Sundays. You got Monday night football. You got Thursday night football. You got Sunday night football. And so that's like half the week. And all these games, people drink. They go out to eat. They eat wings, chicken, pizza. You order pizza, eat bad food. You're not working out the next day. You're not working on your business the next day.
What's wrong with drinking?
There's nothing wrong with drinking. I don't drink though.
Yeah.
I don't drink. I'll drink a little bit here and there, but I for the most part, majority of the time, I don't drink. Do you?
Champagne's healthy.
You drink a little bit of champagne. We're gonna get to that
That's
here.
all I
We're
drink,
gonna get to that in a
yeah.
second.
Yeah.
But hear me out. So like think about it, 4.5 months out of the year, half of your week is dedicated towards drinking, eating pizza, and watching football. And that's just one sport. How many people out there watch football, basketball, baseball, all this stuff? And don't get me wrong, like I'm a season ticket holder for the San Diego Padres, but here's the difference. I give away 95% of my tickets to team members. If the team members don't want them, they go to my mastermind members and investors. They go to clients, okay? That's the difference. You go to some of these baseball games, sometimes you'll get a suite for your team. Talk about that.
It builds culture. It builds culture.
Doing what? What builds culture?
Going to a game, being in a nice suite, and bonding with your top producers. Because I don't take everybody. I take my top producers, people that contribute and bring in revenue, and then also that also keeps your top producers. They get they're excited to be part of your company, and then I take my video guy, and we shoot, and we shoot it to also run more ads and be like, hey, if you want to be part of a company like this that actually takes you out to nice things, then boom, join.
Yeah. If someone listening to this right now is maybe they're in a place to where they feel stuck, they don't feel like they're growing, they're ready for the next thing, but they're spending a lot of their time watching sports right now, what would you say to that individual?
Cut the sports completely, and instead spend 1 hour a day listening to podcast. Why podcast? Because books are a waste of time. Because and they're I don't mean it in a bad way. If you're a good reader and you want to read, books are great. But I like to listen to podcasts because it's like you're listening to the best stuff from the book, and you're listening to a conversation, and it's a lot easier to understand for most people, and you're going to gain some nuggets. So for 1 hour a day, watch a podcast between two super smart people and learn something. You could also if you can't do that, then read for an hour or go to a seminar, things like that, because 1 hour a day of self-improvement, you know how many days it is in a year? 15. So if you do 1 hour of self-improvement a day, you're going to get 15 total days of self-improvement, and that's going to make you better.
So 365 days in a year, but you're saying if you
Divided by
dedicate
24
1 hour,
Yeah.
every 24 hours equals 1 day. So you get 15 days of self-improvement.
15 days of
I
self-improvement.
love that. Dude, I mean, the cat's out of the bag. You can officially learn more listening to a podcast than you can in a 4-year university. And out of all the audiences out there, all the platforms, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, Threads, YouTube, and then you get the long form, which is podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Spotify. Hands down, out of all those audiences, the highest net worth, the action takers, the ones that are literally moving the needles, that are actually doing big things, is the podcast audience. These are also the highest net worth, have money, and it makes sense because they're learning the game because they're trying to improve their lives.
Yeah, like I mean, brokies are on Instagram
And TikTok.
Wealthy people are on YouTube
And listening to podcasts.
and because Instagram is a dating app. You know, it's a dating app. It's for you to pick up chicks. It's for you to watch like stupid clips of sports and cars and mainly chicks, but it's mainly a dating app. It's not. It's you don't find billionaires studying and getting better or on those platforms. Short form content are for the average people that are not smart.
Mm.
But unfortunately, those are the people that's 99% of your customers, because 99% of the world is not smart. So like, where do you find the not smart people? You find them on TikTok, on Instagram. That's why you run the ads right there. But if you want to learn and get smarter, then go to YouTube.
Yeah, or podcast. It's crazy. Like I would say, 90% of everything we do here at Summers Capital, deal flow, connections with brokers, capital raise for our fund, everything that we do, even like mastermind members, 90% of it comes from the podcast audience, not from social media, because people that listen to podcasts have money, their highest net worth, their higher net worth, more savvy, and everything that you just mentioned. All right, next up, you say that, tell me the story. You said a story on your Instagram, and you talked about how people, when they go out to eat, a lot of people like to split the bill. And you learned something from Bradley about splitting the bill. What did you learn? Because I will preface it with this. Most people, when they go out to eat with their buddies, even when girls go out on dates with guys for the first date, like the girls that work on my team, they say guys will take them on a date and then they'll split they'll split the bill on the first date.
Those girls need some coaching.
But it's a real thing, right? And then guys go out, even I see guys that are in the 30s, 40s, and even 50s. They go out to lunch with each other and they'll split the bill. What are your thoughts on splitting the bill?
Dude, that's embarrassing. You know, that's embarrassing. Like I used to be
What's embarrassing?
splitting a bill. Like I used to be that brokey, dude. I used to be that brokey, but that's what I knew when I was growing up, because I'm Mexican, you know, and I grew up with other Mexicans, Latinos. I used to have a lot of black friends because I come from the ghetto. So you don't know any better. You don't know what you don't know. So when I used to go eat, everybody would put their card or put money, and I thought that was normal. And then one time, I started making more money, and they know that I'm obviously the one that makes the most money from the table, and I was putting my card in there, and then everybody was like, "Oh, well, I didn't drink, so I put less. Oh, I didn't," and they weren't even counting tax, tips. They thought, "Oh, I just ate a sandwich, so I'm just gonna put $14.99."
Scarcity mindset.
Yeah, and it pissed me off, and I'm like, "Why am I sitting in this table with these fucking losers?" So I stopped going out with them, and I'm like, "Dude, I'm not going out with these people. I'm gonna go out with higher net worth people." So what happened is, one time I went with Brad Lee. It was his birthday, and we went to eat, and it was me and my family, him, his family, and I remember, because I didn't know any better, the bill came, and I tell Brad, "Hey, here's my card. You want to split it?" And then he just got the card and threw it back at me, and he's like, "I don't split bills." And then he just said, "I got it," and he paid it. And then the next time, I'm like, "I paid it." And then eventually, when you hang out with people that are successful, you're fighting to pay the bill. And I think if you're a man, like real men, you pay the bill. Like, you got to pay the bill. If you don't pay the full bill, then you're not a real man.
Yeah. I agree with that, dude.
And you know what I do sometimes for fun? I double, like I pay 100. What is it? Is it 100% tip? Like if
You 100% tip.
if the price is $600, I'll match it, and I'll just do another $600 tip, and then I'll pay 1,200 total. But I do that when they give me exceptional service. I'm not gonna do it every single time, but I always do at least 20%. But when they do exceptional service, I'm gonna double their tip. I'm gonna double the whatever it was. I'm gonna pay them the same. I'm matching.
Yeah, 100%, dude. And I also think that, like, if you're sitting at a table, the bill comes, you're at a nice restaurant, and now you got 6 dudes trying to split up a bill and figure out who owes what. Like, that's kind of an embarrassing thing.
They're
It's
girls.
like, dude,
They're little girls. They're not men.
And so I agree with you. I think you're sitting at the right table when people are fighting to pay the bill.
Yeah. You're sitting at the right table when all your friends have black cards.
Yes. I got a black card.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like that. Okay. So one last message. What anyone listening to this right now that's sitting at a table where people are splitting the bill, what's your message to them?
Fucking grow some balls. Be a man.
Okay, next up, you said that Grant Cardone pissed you off because something about speaking on a stage, and you wanted to speak on a stage. Tell me the story. Break it down
Yeah,
for me.
well, he was at my last driven event like a few months ago.
I love
He
Grant.
showed up there for free. But I mean, me and Grant have a long history. So it was last month, I saw him for the first time. I spoke to him for the first time since 2019. So 2019 we stopped talking. He blocked me on Instagram. I'm still blocked, and he blocked my cell phone.
Why did Grant block you in 2019?
And Elena Cardone, because Grant is very smart. And I don't mean anything bad about Grant. Like I love Grant. I've learned so much from him, especially in the beginning. But Grant is, I don't know if he looked a little bit different this time. He seemed like a different person. I don't know if if he's more he's older now,
Well, he's 67.
and now he wants to be a different type of person. But Grant was always money first. So he was like money first, money first, money first, money over friendships. So if there's a friendship or money, he'll go for money, whatever's gonna make him more money. Before, he seemed a lot different this time. So it Grant, I invested probably like $400,000 in him.
Into Cardone
Not
Capital?
Cardone Capital,
Into
just
mentorship.
into mentorship, tickets, speaking fees, one-on-one time, things like that. And that's how we became friends. I used to pick him up at the private airport, let him borrow my Rolls Royce, and go to his house, and we were pretty damn close. And I'm Grant's #1 apprentice. If you ask Grant, like he can he can't lie. Like I'm his #1 apprentice because I started with him when he had his first seminar with 30 people. But Grant, I I always wanted to speak at the 10x stage, and he just wouldn't let me. He's just, no, you got to make 1 million, man. You got to make 1 million. I made 1 million, and then he said, no, you got to make millions. I made 2 million, and he said no. And that's one of the biggest lessons in life, and for your audience right here, attention. You need attention. If you don't have attention, you're better off being a brokey with millions of followers and getting a lot of attention, because then it's easier to make money. So
Yeah.
because
Well, I was gonna say, if you got millions of followers, you're not gonna be a brokey very long.
yeah, exactly. So Grant said you can't speak on stage because you don't have an audience. That alone changed my life. I started focusing, spending money on building my audience, being on podcasts, speaking on stages, doing more driven events and things like that. And then that's what started growing my brand. But at one point, Grant, he kept on telling me like, hey, Albert, I want you to invest in Cardone Capital. Hey, Albert, invest in Cardone Capital. And I remember one time we're walking at Equinox, and I'm walking with him, and we're at Equinox, and he's like, hey, just send me 100 grand, man, just so that I can say that you're an investor. And I'm like, dude, why would I do that? Like, I have my mortgage company. I make money on the mortgages. I make money on the real estate purchases, and I know how to invest. I had 18 properties at that point, and I'm like, I know what I'm already doing it, and I'm getting more than 5-6%, and like I know how to do it. So, long story short, he stopped. He would come to town. He wouldn't have time for me. He would come again, busy. He was always busy, and I'm like, shit. Just because I'm not giving him money, he doesn't have time for me, because he's only meeting with people that are giving him money. So our friendship is not there. So then I just posted a video, and I said, because Bobby Castro, have you met him? Bobby Castro, he also owns multifamily. So he came and spoke at the Driven event, and we're talking backstage, and somebody recorded a clip, posted it, and I'm talking to Bobby. Hey, you know what? Grant, this, and he doesn't have time for me anymore. He's like, you already consumed the pill, and you already learned from Grant. It's time for you to like upgrade your mentors. And we started talking about upgrading your mentors. The video went out. My marketing team actually posted. I didn't even know about it, and they posted that video.
What'd the video say?
That it's time to upgrade your mentors. That I already consumed the Cardone drug, and that it's time to upgrade your mentors. I didn't mean that.
Yeah.
But I didn't mean it that way. But they posted the video, and same day, Elena Cardone sends me a text message, long message, and then she's like, I can't believe you did this, and da-da-da. Elena, if you watch this, I'm sorry, I didn't mean it that way, but that did it. And I'm like, dude, that's kind of childish. Like, it's emotional. Like, I love you guys. You guys are awesome, but you guys have no time for me, so I have to go find somebody else to mentor me. So that's what happened. So Elena Cardone blocks me, Grant Cardone blocks me, they block me from Instagram, and then we didn't talk for like 6 years, and then finally I met Grant again last month.
Mm,
Yeah.
damn. I was in Miami this past weekend. I was supposed to record a podcast with Sabrina.
Uh-huh.
At one of
Smart.
the
They're
yeah,
smart.
out at the Move Miami studio.
Yeah.
But she had to reschedule last minute. But I was looking forward to potentially meeting Elena. But anyways, crazy story. I'm a big fan of Grant. Good dude. I don't know him like you know him. He's been on this podcast. I've done 3 podcasts with him. And then we hosted a meetup together back in January here in San Diego. But other than that, that's all. And Jared Glant. I met Jared Glant last time. So him, Sabrina, Jared were up in my apartment last time before our meetup. We're all hanging out, having a little sushi. But
I was closer to Elena Cardone.
okay.
So like I have my ways of creating these strong relationships, but the way I got close to Grant was through Elena Cardone.
Got it. So you say going to the barber is for brokies. Why do you say that?
It's all about time, and you got to be focused on your business and what makes you the money. And when you go to the barber shop, like you have to drive there, you have to park, ding your Ferrari or Rolls Royce, whatever you have, endanger yourself from being robbed, or I don't know. A lot of things can happen. Then you got to sit down or wait in line and pay and get your cut.
It takes time. Yeah,
it takes time. Then you got to drive back, and it's just like it's such a dumb thing to do. So like that's why like me, like I want to get to my first billion, so I'm just gonna buzz my hair myself, and then people are gonna say, well, what about this? Why don't you get your barber to come to your house? You get your barber to come to your house, and then they're fans, and then they want to take pictures. And then they're like just talking. You can't even focus. So when I buzz my hair, I'm doing it as I listen to a podcast.
I had my barber come in here to the office for quite some time. And then one day he goes, Rich, I can't come and see you anymore. He'll come in every Friday morning. And his name's Oscar. I'm like, why can't you come in anymore, Oscar? He's like, bro, I started my own shop. And I was like, damn, that's freaking badass. And so this dude literally started his own shop. And I started driving to him because he's like the best barber in town. But it's like a 30-minute drive, and like that only lasted so long. One day I was just like, I can't do this anymore. So I feel you. For me, bro, I like getting the nice fade. I do it weekly. I gotta feel fresh. I feel like I make more money when I feel fresh. But I agree with you on the time thing. I can't sit in hours of traffic and all that sort of thing. It's not a good return on my time. All right, next up, you say don't get married until you buy a house. What do you mean by that?
So if you get married, you qualify. There's a loan called FHA loan.
Yep, 3.5% down.
Yeah, 3.5% down.
One of the best ways to get in the game.
Yeah, you up to
one
4
of the best
units.
ways for the everyday person to become a millionaire.
And you get up to 4 units. You could have bad credit. You can have debt. It's just one of those aggressive loans, and it's only 3.5% down. So what you have to do is the boyfriend, you buy 4 units FHA. And then you tell your girlfriend, I'm not going to marry you until you get your 4 units FHA. Then after that, then you get married, and now you have 8. So whatever you do, if you're watching this and you're engaged, thinking about getting married, like don't get married until both of you get an FHA loan. Because once you get married, you only qualify for 1 FHA loan as a married couple. So you will only get up to 4 units. So you get 4 and 4. And then if you're married, you could get divorced and then buy 4 units each, and then get married again.
So say that one more time. Don't get married until what?
Don't get married until you buy your FHA loan and you have your girlfriend buy her FHA loan. And no matter what she says, don't get married because you're.
And I'll take it a step further. Get the FHA loan, 3.5% down, but you can negotiate the seller to cover all your closing costs, right? So negotiate the seller to cover your closing costs. The easiest way to do that is once you agree on price. Say I'm going to give you 2 points higher. So let's just say it's $1 million purchase. Offering to give them $1,020,000, which will be 2 points. But you give me a $20,000 credit towards my closing costs. Now you're still putting down 3.5%, and the seller covers all your closing costs. You save $20,000 out of pocket. Do that twice, that's $40K.
Yeah, and then I'll take it even further and do the Chase credit card hack, and then you get up to $100,000 in credit card money, and then you transfer that money to your bank account, and then you use that as a down payment, so you don't even come up with down payment. So you buy 4 unit properties with nothing, not even a down payment.
That's really good. What do we got to nickname that? What's the nickname of that?
Credit card down payment. for FHA buyers.
Yeah.
Yeah,
The
but you
no money down
yeah,
chase for 2 4-plexes. Buy
yeah,
8 units with no money down.
yeah, and then your girlfriend can get the chase hack, and the boyfriend can do the chase hack.
This is how you buy 8 units with no money.
Yeah,
This is how you buy 8 units without
yeah.
using any of your own
But
money.
you also got to be smart. You know, if you're not smart, like you're gonna find a way to mess it up. Because you could when you get the credit card money, you transfer to your bank account. You have to wait 2 full months so that it's seasoned for 2 months. That way, bank's never gonna know where it came from.
Yeah. Some lenders, they don't care though. They don't care where the money's coming from.
Yeah,
As
right.
long as
Uh-huh.
the money, as long as they get money. Albert, I appreciate you coming on, my man. Definitely a pleasure conversating with you. A long time overdue. I'm surprised we haven't connected thus far up until today. But you're right up the street. We got to connect for a Fast Lane event. I'm gonna connect you with the founder, my man Clem. But let's definitely stay connected. Where can the folks get in touch with you if they want to learn more?
Just Google me, Albert Preciado.
There it is, Albert Preciado, and he's on Instagram at the Albert Preciado. He's Albert Preciado. I'm Rich Shimmers. Listeners, thanks for tuning in. We'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.